and welcome to today's edition of the News in Brief, brought to you by
Graphic Communication is giving you the opportunity to have news not only in hard copy but also in a digital form. Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Visit us on graphic.com.gh for further information. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
In the headlines, Teachers and Educational Workers Union begins indefinite nationwide strike. NALAG calls for review of law on electing presiding members. FDA wants importers to register products before distributing to markets. And Clerk to Parliament responsible for scuffle in Parliament. We will tell you who is saying this. Now the news in brief. Members of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union have declared an indefinite nationwide strike to demand better conditions of service. The union explains that their action is necessitated by the failure of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to conclude negotiations on their conditions of service, which expired in 2010.
Hundreds of aggrieved members of TEWU on Wednesday, January 13, declared the strike at the entrance of the University of Ghana. Members expressed displeasure at the failure of the Fair Wages Commission to finalize negotiations of their demands. According to the General Secretary of TEWU, Mr. Mark Ranchi, who addressed the members, the union has consequently set up task forces on all campuses to monitor adherence to the strike.
Meetings upon meetings, even with the presidency, we raised this issue. What the president said was that the ministers responsible and the agencies responsible should immediately sit with us and negotiate and come to some agreement. And this was February 2020. We are in January 2021. Nothing has been said about it. And the laws of the land frowns on discrimination of whichever form. And that is why we think that we have come to a point where we can no longer bear the frustration. We have to go and sit our somewhere and think of ourselves.
The National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana, NALAG, is calling for a constitutional review to allow presiding members of local assemblies to be elected by a simple majority. According to the association, the current law makes it difficult for electing a presiding member.
According to the president of NALAG, Mr. Bismarck Nkum, Article 244 Clause 2 of the 1992 Constitution, which requires a nominee to attain 2/3 of the votes of the entire assembly, is often too difficult to achieve. Speaking at a press conference in Accra on Wednesday, January 13, he said the current law has prevented some assemblies from electing presiding members for close to 2 years.
Article 244 Clause 1 talks about having a presiding member in the assembly. Clause 2 talks about the election of presiding member. The fact that the presiding member should be elected by at least 2/3, not less than 2/3 of all members of the assembly. It's difficult, and that is why if people can organize themselves and say, for this person that has been proposed to be a presiding member, we are not going to vote for him. You could have instances where some assemblies, even today, including mine, we don't have a presiding member because the decision is that we are not voting for a presiding member.
The Food and Drugs Authority is urging importers and exporters to register their cosmetics and household chemical products before putting them up for sale. The FDA says the requirement for registration is the position of the law.
A Deputy Chief Executive Officer in charge of food registration at the FDA, Mr. Roderick Dadieje, who was speaking at a stakeholder meeting with freight forwarders in Tema on Wednesday, January 13, 2021, said effective February 1, 2021, the FDA will not tolerate importers who flout the Public Health Act, Act 851 of 2012, which prohibits the importation of unregistered foods.
So if you bring in products that are not registered, you are flouting Section 97 of the Public Health Act, which says that you must register the product before it comes into the country. The registration is a process to allow the authority to look at what you are bringing in, and then you get a pre-market authorization for a 3-year period where then we will be from time to time picking your product on the market to test to find out whether it conforms to the standard by which it was registered.
The Member of Parliament for Asante Achim Central, Kwame Enchi, says he blames the Clerk of Parliament for the scuffle that ensued in the chamber on January 7. Mr. Enchi, who described the incident as embarrassing, says the clerk should have called the MPs to order.
Let me, on behalf of Parliament, I do not have any official position, but I would personally, and on behalf of all parliamentarians, it doesn't matter on which side of the aisle that we're talking about, but let me apologize to Ghanaians that it wouldn't happen again. I think that what happened, the cause of this was that the clerk, out of the respect that he had for parliamentarians, was not able to control the House.
The late former president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, will be buried at the military cemetery at Bema Camp in Accra. The former president died on Thursday, November 12, 2020 at the Kolibu Teaching Hospital in Accra and will be buried on January 27.
At a press briefing in Accra on Wednesday, the immediate past Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Oponkroma, said the funeral activities of the late Rawlings will begin on Friday, January 22. The Anglo Traditional Council will hold a series of celebratory and traditional events in honor of Rawlings on Friday, January 22 and Saturday, January 23 in Anglo.
On the 22nd and the 23rd of January 2021, the Anglo Traditional Council will hold a series of celebratory and traditional events in Anglo. On Sunday, the 24th of January, the national activities will start with a Catholic Requiem Mass at the Holy Spirit Cathedral here in Accra, and then a vigil at the Air Force Base here in Accra at 6 p.m. The mortal remains of His Excellency the former President will be laid in state for filing past by various categories of the general public. On Tuesday, the 26th of January 2021, filing past resumes at 9 a.m., led by His Excellency the President of the Republic, followed by the Vice President. On the 27th of January 2021, that is on Wednesday, there will be a burial service with full military honors at the Black Star Square here in Accra, led by the Ghana Armed Forces, after which the mortal remains of His Excellency the former President will be interred at the military cemetery at Bema Camp.
Thank you for watching. We will see you again tomorrow with another edition. Stay safe and protect yourself from COVID-19. For more news, visit graphic.com.gh or log on to Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube at Graphic GH. I am Juliet Echansafo.